moving on to avoiding the pitfalls. So bitterness. Bitterness is sometimes referred to as being nasty. Bitterness can turn a really kind-hearted, reasonable person into the complete opposite. Bitterness makes you as well quite a hard person to be around and can eat you up inside. And I know this is harsh to hear, but it's important to hear. So if you remain in a bitter mindset, you risk staying a prisoner to your emotions and not being able to move on. Writing down and journaling what is making you feel bitter will give you a far better understanding of where that feeling, which is causing resentment, is coming from. So make sure you are specific and be honest with yourself. It's only you that's going to read this. So this is why reaching out to a professional like myself, like a coach or a counselor, can really help, because you are in a non-judgmental space. When you're talking to friends, you will naturally monitor things that you say in fear of being disliked, in fear that they won't approve. We naturally do it. It's quite unconscious, but we do it. But when you're in that professional environment, when the other person is offering you that unconditional positive regard, you're able to just be free and be really true. This is something I really had to own up to. I really had to look at where my feelings were coming from. And then that was how I was then able to deal with them. And that will be the same for you. So even just journaling this, writing it down, it's only you reading it, making sure you're specific, making sure you're honest with yourself, analyzing what you've written down and what it means for you, and then looking at that meaning a couple of days later with fresh eyes will really turn it on its head. Taking the time to really consider what you're saying. And like I said, seeking help from that trained therapist professional so that you've got a safe place to explore those feelings. And please reach out to me if you do this and it brings up some thoughts and feelings that you weren't aware of. Don't rush to any decisions. Rushing to court or rushing an email off to your ex is never going to help alleviate any problems. Trust me, I've been there. Take time to really consider what you're saying. This is something I've really had to learn. My process went through court for the children. It went through court for the finances. And it's a horrible experience. And I can tell you it is a costly experience as well. So if you can keep your situation outside of court, you will be far better off. Taking time to consider what you're saying and which path you are taking is extremely important as well. Not understanding your emotions. So navigating that divorce or that breakup is hugely emotional time, as we've talked about. And when we aren't in control of those emotions, so much goes wrong. So from our behavior to our reaction to our ex's behavior, to allowing situations to get the better of us. So again, so important to reach out to a coach, a divorce coach, a mentor, a therapist is key during those times. Trying to get one over on the parent as well never works out well in the long run. You can often end up in more emotional turmoil, trust me, by trying to play them at their own game, especially when they are a master manipulator or a narcissist. It just isn't worth the headache. Not seeking legal advice. This leaves you open to manipulation from the other parent, especially if your relationship was a coercive one. So find somebody that you can trust in for that legal advice. Be nice about your ex. It's hard, but you can do it, and I'm not talking about to everybody. I'm talking about to your children mainly, so that they don't feel part of it, because children will blame themselves over all aspects of a divorce and breakup. And don't listen to bad advice. And this goes back to friendships and family members. Whilst it's great to have friends and family to support us, remember they are emotionally invested as well. They know you, they like you, you're their friend, you're their family member, they love you, they'll have an opinion about the other person. And more often than not, they're not doing it out of nastiness, but they can often give the wrong advice for the best way to navigate your divorce or breakup. So ensure you're taking that appropriate legal action. Find that solicitor you trust, find a coach, a counsellor that you can talk about your emotions with, and it really, really, really will help.